At my 30th birthday dinner, I watched my parents hand my younger brother a new car key and announce, "We got you a present for being so patient with your loser sibling." Everyone laughed and toasted to him while I sat there with a plastic fork and a store-bought cupcake. That night, I drove home in silence. 2 years later, they were all fighting for a piece of my company and I let them burn. It was supposed to be a small dinner. Just family. Just a celebration. That's what my mom said when she texted me, "Nothing fancy, just a little dinner for your big day." Can't believe my baby's 30. I should have known better. But I showed up anyway. It was at Lou's Steakhouse, over in Tempe, Arizona. The kind of place with sticky floors and fake leather booths. The kind of place where you smell the deep fryer before you even park the car. When I got there, they were already inside. They didn't save me a good seat I had to squeeze in at the end of the table, near the kitchen doors. My younger brother Evan spotted me first. "Yo," he called out, waving a half-empty beer bottle. "Grab me a Coke, will ya?" Everyone laughed. Even my mom. Even my dad. I laughed too, just to keep the peace. The waitress handed me a paper menu. Everyone else already had appetizers. No one saved me any. I ordered a cheap steak I could barely afford. Sat there smiling while Evan told some story about getting wasted and almost hooking up with twins. At some point, my Aunt Susan leaned over to me. "Still doing your little computer thing?" she asked. I nodded. "Good for you," she said, "the way people talk to special needs kids." I swallowed my pride. Told myself, it's fine. It's just one dinner. Then came the cake. The waitress brought out a single grocery store cupcake. Still in the plastic container. She placed it in front of me like she was ashamed. Everyone clapped. Slow, sarcastic claps. Evan whistled and banged on the table. "Don't eat it all in one bite, big guy." I laughed again. Because what else could I do? Then my dad stood up. Held up his glass. Everyone quieted down. He gave this fake emotional speech about how proud he was. Proud of Evan. My mom pulled something from her purse. A car key. Shiny. New. She tossed it to Evan across the table. He caught it one-handed. Everyone cheered. "For being patient with your loser sibling," my dad said. They toasted. They laughed. Even the waitress looked like she wanted to crawl under a table. I just sat there. With my plastic fork. And my store-bought cupcake. I didn't say a word. Didn't eat. Didn't blink. When the check came, they asked me to split it. That night, I drove back to my one-room apartment in a car that coughed every time I hit 30 miles per hour. I parked outside the 7-Eleven across the street because my apartment complex didn't even have enough spaces. I sat there for hours. Watching the sun go down. Thinking about every single thing I ever did to make them proud. It never mattered. I was just the family punching bag. The slow one. The one they could laugh at to make themselves feel better. I looked down at the plastic cupcake container on the passenger seat. Still sealed. Untouched. That night, I made a decision, never again. The next 2 years were hell. Real hell. Not the kind you post inspirational quotes about. I worked until my fingers locked up. Built websites. Ran ads. Fixed online stores. Wrote endless lines of code. I took on the worst clients, cheap, rude, demanding. I said yes to everything. Every miserable project. Every insult. I slept 3 hours a night. I ate ramen and expired canned soup. I kept wearing shoes even when they split at the seams. My car finally died. I walked to meetings in 110-degree heat. Nobody cared. Nobody noticed. Nobody called to check if I was alive. But slowly, things changed. A little bakery I helped doubled their sales. They told a restaurant. The restaurant told a clothing store. The clothing store told a realtor. It snowballed. I hired one contractor. Then 2. Then 5. I rented a tiny office. Then a bigger one. By year 2, I was pulling in more money a month than my parents made in a year. I bought a brand new SUV. Paid off all my debt. Got my own place, not big, but clean and quiet. And I renamed the company, Blue Cactus Solutions. The name made no sense. It didn't have to. It was mine. I didn't tell anyone in my family. I didn't post about it. I didn't brag. I just worked. Then COVID hit. Businesses were drowning. Everyone needed to go online overnight. Guess who was ready? Me. We exploded. Overnight. $6 million turned into $20 million by the end of the year. Suddenly, I was the guy people begged to hire. And that's when my phone started lighting up. First my mom. Hey, sweetie. Just checking in. We were thinking about getting a family investment group together, helping each other out during hard times. Then my dad. Hey, kiddo. Your old man's still got some tricks up his sleeve. Maybe we should sit down, talk about future plans. Could be big for both of us. Then Evan. Bro. We should start a brand together. You bring the tech, I bring the vibes. We'd kill it. Even Aunt Susan. Family sticks together, right? I have some cash saved up. Maybe we can be partners. I played dumb. Oh, wow. I didn't realize you guys were interested. Let's do a family meeting. I rented a big fancy conference room at the Hilton downtown. Booked it under Blue Cactus Solutions, just to rub it in. The day of the meeting, they all showed up like they were walking into Shark Tank. Evan had on an oversized suit. My mom had a briefcase. My dad kept checking his fake Rolex. Aunt Susan wore some gaudy gold jewelry. I stood at the head of the table. Behind me, the projector screen lit up. First slide, welcome to the company built by your loser sibling. Silence. Thick. Awkward. My dad laughed nervously. Good one, son. Now let's get serious. I stayed dead serious. I showed them the numbers. Revenue. Clients. Employees. Assets. Their eyes almost popped out of their heads. Then I dropped the real bomb. I'm taking on investors. Minimum buy-in, $500,000. High risk. No control. No guarantees. They scrambled like rats. My dad pitched some mentorship program. My mom started crying about how she always believed in me. Evan begged me to make him vice president of strategy. Aunt Susan offered to write a check right then and there. They fought. Screamed. Accused each other of stealing ideas. Even brought up old family dirt from the 90s. I just watched. Arms crossed. Silent. After 2 hours, I stood up. Thanks for coming. I'm choosing none of you. Then I walked out. Left them there. Biting each other's throats. I thought walking out of that hotel conference room would be the end of it. It wasn't. It was just the start. 2 days later, my mom showed up at my office. No appointment. No warning. She cried in the lobby. Big messy tears. Told the receptionist she was my mother and it was an emergency. I watched her on the security camera from my office upstairs. I didn't go down. I had security escort her out. That night, she sent me a 3-page email about how she was just trying to protect me and how family should always stick together, followed by a list of ways I should reinvest my money into her new business ideas. It was basically a scam. Vitamin supplements. MLMs, crypto. All trash. I didn't reply. Then my dad started showing up. At first, he just sat in his truck across the street. Watching. Waiting. I had to call the cops once when he followed me to my gym. He texted after, "You think you're too good for us now? You wouldn't even have that money without your family. The same family that left me to rot with a plastic cupcake on my 30th birthday. The same family that called me a loser." Then Evan. Oh, Evan. He hit rock bottom faster than anyone. Lost his car. Lost his girlfriend. Lost his bartending job after getting into a fistfight with a customer. He messaged me at 3 a.m. one night. "Bro, I need you. Please. Just $5,000. Please. I'm your brother." I didn't answer. Next thing I know, my office windows were smashed. Security footage showed a figure in a hoodie with Evan's build. Cops couldn't confirm it was him. But I knew. I knew. I upgraded all my office locks and cameras. Staff started carrying pepper spray. I filed a restraining order. The family turned on each other after that. Mom blamed Dad for raising Evan wrong. Dad blamed Mom for coddling him. Aunt Susan accused everyone of stealing her rightful investment opportunity. It was chaos. Every week, someone tried to reach out. Voicemails. Emails. Even letters. All of them different but all saying the same thing: you owe us. I kept building. I expanded Blue Cactus Solutions into Texas, Nevada, and Colorado. I bought another house, quiet, gated, private. Not a mansion. I didn't want a mansion. Just peace. And distance. Then came the lawsuit. Yeah. They actually sued me. All three of them, my mom, my dad, Evan, filed a joint lawsuit claiming they had verbal agreements that entitled them to shares of my company. It was laughable. But it cost me 6 months in court and nearly $80,000 in legal fees. They dug up every ugly thing they could. Tried to paint me as unstable. Tried to use old emails and text messages against me. Tried to claim they guided my success. It all blew up in their faces. The judge threw it out. Said there was no contract, no proof, no case. When the ruling came down, Evan flipped out. Smashed up my parents' house. Police were called. He spent 2 nights in county jail. Mom had a breakdown. Started a GoFundMe titled, "Help a Broken Family Heal." It raised $42 from strangers. Mostly pity money. Dad moved into a crappy apartment near a tire shop. Aunt Susan went dark. Probably embarrassed. Meanwhile, I quietly kept growing. No Instagram posts. No TikToks. No bragging. Just quiet wins. Real wins. I thought about reaching out. Thought about rubbing it in. Thought about sending a picture of a whole cake, not a plastic cupcake with a card saying, "Wish you could have had a slice." But I didn't. They weren't worth the postage. I thought they couldn't fall any lower. I was wrong. About a month after the lawsuit got tossed, I got a letter from a law office in Tempe. I almost threw it away. Figured it was junk. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. Inside was a legal notice: Evan was filing for bankruptcy. And he listed me as a potential creditor. Meaning, he was trying to drag me into his mess. Trying to make it look like I owed him money. His filing claimed I had promised to fund his entrepreneurship journey 2 years ago, which, in Evan's world, meant buying him a bar he could run into the ground. It was pure fiction. There was no proof. No contract. No deal. Nothing. But it still meant I had to get a lawyer. Again. It cost me time. Meetings. Paperwork. Energy. All because Evan was too proud to get a real job. At the same time, my mom started a Facebook campaign. Not just sad posts, real attacks. Lies. She told people I stole family recipes to sell online. We didn't even have family recipes. The woman could barely microwave frozen lasagna. She posted old pictures of me as a kid, twisting them into some weird, "we sacrificed everything for him" narrative. It spread. Small town gossip flies fast. People from high school I hadn't seen in a decade started messaging me things like, "Wow, didn't know you were such a snake." It was humiliating. For a while, it hurt. But deep down, I knew the truth. They couldn't hurt me anymore. Meanwhile, the family started suing each other. No joke. My dad sued my mom for fraud, claiming she manipulated him into bad investments. My mom countersued, said he stole money from a joint account years ago. Evan sued them both, said he was emotionally abused and that it limited his career potential. It was a disaster. They spent every penny they had on lawyers. Sold jewelry. Sold furniture. Sold whatever they could. And still, it wasn't enough. One night, around 2 a.m., I got a voicemail from my dad. He sounded drunk. Broken. "Son. I messed up. We all messed up. I'm sorry. You were never the loser. It was us. All of us. We were scared and jealous. We still are. I know you won't forgive me. I don't blame you. I just wanted you to know, you won." I didn't save the message. I didn't call back. I didn't even flinch. Around the same time, Aunt Susan tried one last thing. She mailed me a handwritten letter. Pages long. Begging. Crying about how family is all we have in the end, and how blood is thicker than water. At the bottom, she included her bank routing number. Just in case I wanted to help. I framed that letter. Put it in my office. Right next to my first dollar earned from Blue Cactus Solutions. A reminder. Not just of how far I'd come, but of what I left behind. The thing about revenge is, it doesn't always come with fire and screaming. Sometimes it comes in silence. And it lasts longer that way. A year after all the lawsuits, bankruptcies, and public meltdowns, something unexpected happened. The city decided to rezone the old shopping center where Lou's Steakhouse used to be, the place where my family humiliated me. The city wanted to sell it off cheap to developers. One of my real estate buddies called me. "You interested?" he asked. "It's a dump," I said. "Exactly," he laughed. "They're practically giving it away." I bought the entire block. Cash. The place was a wreck. Half the stores abandoned. Homeless camps behind the old Lou's. Most people would have torn it down. I had a better idea. I spent 9 months gutting it. Rebuilding it from the ground up. When it was done, the whole place was gleaming. New stores. New restaurants. New lighting. New parking. Modern. Clean. Safe. And right where Lou's used to stand, I opened a bakery. A real one. Called it Loser's Cupcakes. Bright neon letters. Big, beautiful cupcakes. Happy customers every day. On the front wall, I hung a giant blown-up photo, a single plastic cupcake in its sad little container. Below it, for everyone who was told they'd never be enough. It became a local sensation. The bakery made 6 figures in its first 6 months. One day, about 3 months after opening, I was sitting in the bakery's corner booth, just watching people. Families. Kids. Grandparents. Laughing. Eating cupcakes. Living. And through the window, I saw them. My mom. My dad. Evan. They looked wrecked. Old. Thin. Worn out. They stood outside for a long time, just staring at the sign. Evan pressed his face against the glass for a second, like he couldn't believe it. My mom wiped her eyes. My dad just shook his head and muttered something I couldn't hear. They didn't come inside. They couldn't. They turned and walked away. I didn't smile. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. I just felt done. It was over. I didn't need an apology. I didn't need them to suffer more. They already were. Their own choices were their punishment. And me? I was the loser who built an empire. I was the disappointment who created something beautiful out of their garbage. But I wasn't perfect either. I missed out on years of real living. Wasted nights obsessed with proving them wrong. Sacrificed relationships. Friendships. Peace. My anger kept me alive. But it also kept me chained. And now, standing in my own bakery, watching families share cupcakes I never got, I realized I had to let the anger go too. Otherwise, I'd be stuck forever just like them. So, that night, I locked up the bakery. I stood under the loser's cupcake sign, looked up at the stars, and made a new promise. From now on, I build for me. Not to hurt them. Not to prove anything. Just for me. And for the first time in years, I finally felt free.